Morning, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. Today is the 21st of March, and it is the first full day of spring here in the Northern Hemisphere on the East Coast of the U.S. It's colder than it was yesterday, and yesterday was pretty cold, and it's boring. So here we are in the house. So this is the morning video. So the interesting thing is the moon is in Sag today, and the Sag moon is a very freedom-loving moon. It did make an earlier opposition to Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter is an expansive energy. Gemini is communication. Opposition is awareness. And so we have an awareness of issues of freedom. And the Jupiter Gemini energy is an expansion of that, right? An expansion of talking about that. Now we have people like Bernie Sanders and AOC going around the country on these anti-oligarch tours. I believe I heard that I don't know, it was 5,000 people or more went to see that. If you watch, or I think it was more, if you watch the videos, you can see just how many folks are going and how they're responding. And then yesterday I saw a video of the woman who primaried, what's her name? Liz Cheney in Laramie. I can't think of her name, but you know who she is. And they were screaming their head off at this woman. And she was like, I don't understand why you're so interested in the federal government. It's like, oh, I don't know, because the federal government is the people that keep us safe and keep our roads and keep our children educated. What does the federal government do? Everything a government's supposed to do, and probably not enough. So there's that, right? Okay, so there's all this discussion. Today we have an inconjunct between the moon and Mars. Mars is in Cancer, the moon in Sag, requiring adjustment. Now, usually the Sag and Cancer are so different from each other. Cancer being very sort of internal, security-minded, whereas Sag is more freedom-minded and, wants free reign, right? They're in an inconjunct to each other. And so we're struggling with this need to feel safe and secure versus this need to have our freedom. Now, of course, we have a lot of planets around the Pisces Aries cusp. We have Venus in Aries. We have now the Sun in Aries. We have Mercury in Aries. Venus and Mercury are actually moving retrograde. They're going to go back over that first degree of Aries and go into Pisces. Retrograde times are always about reevaluation. So we're going to be reevaluating our values and reevaluating how we think about things. In Aries, it's about freedom, right? Aries, like all fire signs, Sag and Leo, need freedom. Pisces is about compassion, walking in other people's moccasins. They're going to move back into Pisces, turn around and come back into Aries, going over that Aries first degree of Aries. First degree of Aries, like all the first degrees of the cardinal signs, are considered world points. Aries being, I believe, I don't know if you could say it's the most powerful, but Aries is about new beginnings. And so as these planets move over this axis back and forth, there is this sense of endings and new beginnings, endings and new beginnings. And so we have to ask ourselves, who are we? What do we stand for? What's important to us? What are our values? Values is Venus. Venus in Aries, valuing of the self. Venus in Pisces, valuing healing, compassion, unconditional love, kindness, help, aid, right? Okay, so going over that axis, going over that cusp, Aries, Pisces, is always sort of like the new beginning, right? We have the sun's in Aries. This is the time of rebirth. It's the time of Easter. But at the end of this month, Neptune is going to go over that axis. is going to go over that cusp, excuse me. And when it does, this will be the first time that Neptune has been in the first degree of Aries since 1861. And then the next month, April, Saturn goes over that point. And that in June we have Uranus going into Gemini, I think. And in July, we have Jupiter going into Cancer. So we have all of this change coming up. So it's only going to bring the need for change, the insistence for change to happen. The future is an Aquarian future. And so Aquarius is power to the people, but it's also very tribal in its nature. And so we are finding our tribes. The challenge is going to be to allow those tribes to interconnect and communicate, like the cells in the body. If you want the body to function, the cells themselves need to be healthy, but they also need to be able to communicate to the other cells, right? To keep the body whole. We have a lot of change coming up, but within that change, we have a lot of possibility of recreating the world. And I'll talk more about that in later videos. So, Moon and Sag, don't fence me in. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow, hopefully outside. Namaste.